Today's front pages are dominated by the Duke of York being reduced to the ranks by his mother. Phew, I'm sure they said in Number 10. Well, not really, because inside those newspapers, reams and reams of the PM's problems continue, and in a clever juxtaposition, many contrast the sad and solitary figure of Her Majesty at her husband's funeral the day after. Two parties were raging at Number 10 with a disco and a suitcase full of booze. Now, the PM wasn't there, but he attended another, and that's already been acknowledged. None of it helps, but is any of it terminal? And are the Duke and the Downing Street staffers' antics one of the most important issues on people's minds? Boris Johnson appears to have lied, dissembled and blamed others while admitting that he did attend a party that many had seen as being illegal. The excuses and the explanations are rich and nuanced, from Number 10 being exempt as a Crown property and moot debates over what constitutes a work gathering. It won't wash. But to many ordinary folk, it really isn't the burning issue of the day. As Christine Milstead observed on Twitter, sleaze, sleaze and more sleaze. When is the media going to wake up and report on important news which could have a great impact on us all? Fuel prices, taxation, children's education, Chinese interference, influence, Russia mounting troops on the Ukrainian border, to name but a few. She's not alone. Others suggest that there is a media conspiracy against the Prime Minister, determined to oust him for having done Brexit and to oust his party from government, because many of them deep down hanker for a Labour government or perhaps a Labour Liberal Democrat coalition. Teresa observes on Twitter, the BBC's decided to remove the Prime Minister. They are using your licence fee to do this. I didn't vote for the Conservatives, but I believe in democracy, and that is the electorate's job to remove a PM, not the left-wing media's. Well, many seem to agree with her, and many more say it isn't just the BBC. To be clear, the Prime Minister is in trouble, and he could be ousted by his own party in a pretty simple process. But is there an appetite in the party for that yet? Secret letters are said to have gone to the chairman of the 1922 committee. He needs to receive over 50 to trigger a leadership election. So far, fewer than 10 have gone public. Fraser Nelson suggests in the Telegraph they won't move until a likely winner comes forward. He also demonstrates with much experience of these matters, no presumed candidate is the complete deal yet. In another twist of how the media works, the Times newspaper appears to have an exclusive leak of what senior civil servant Sue Gray will conclude about all those Number 10 shenanigans and the PM's walk-on part in them. The Times political editor Stephen Swinford writes, Sue Gray's inquiry is not expected to find evidence of criminality over Number 10 parties, but she is considering censuring the Prime Minister for his lack of judgment. She will castigate the Number 10 drinking culture and predicts aides and officials will face disciplinary proceedings. Now, of course, he may be right, he may be wrong, but I tell you this, he's very good, and no one's denied it yet. It would be a conclusion that gave the Prime Minister a little more time to put himself in the clear. Finally, Labour, up to their eyeballs in the China spy story, fielded Emily Thornberry to say of the Prime Minister, and I quote, "It's the lying, the manipulation, the treating us all as fools that hurt." On that, she may well have a point. But I also sense, however, that the public are saying much the same about sections of the media, especially on the manipulation and treating us as fools bit. Several people have known all along what happened in Downing Street during lockdown and other phases of restriction, not least Dominic Cummings, that it has dripped out according to what looks like a coordinated, strategically planned grid to a fine lineup of willing media friends is, at best, odd. So, are we led by a fool who has to go, or are we being played as fools by a media that certainly wants him to go? In truth, are you more worried about the economy, energy prices, interest rates and the threat of our security and peace abroad? And wouldn't you just like to see an end to all the COVID restrictions as soon as possible? I'm just asking.